In my 20s, should I be prioritizing making a shit ton of money, getting as many skills as I want, pushing myself, go, go, go? Or should I be trying to find the right balance between that and my mental health, between that and my boundaries at work, between that and what I want for my life and my future? What do you think? Hi, my name is Snete Mbaveni. I am an economist in South Africa, and in this channel I talk about topics surrounding career, corporate, and life in general. And today the specific one I want to talk about is, what should I be doing in my 20s? Should I be finding the most labor intensive job that's gonna pay me a shit ton of money and build my skills? Or should I, for now, just, be looking at finding the right balance in my life and prioritizing my friends and my family? This is an ongoing topic on the internet, rather. And I have these conversations with my friends all the time as to what should I be doing? And this came after I was severely burnt out. I worked at one of the top consulting firms in the world, and after a year, I could not even hear the sound of like Zoom or Teams or like seeing an office space without getting physically anxious, like physically sick. And I thought to myself, this is not healthy. I need to take a break. And I took a break. I did my master's. I went overseas. I studied overseas. I meditated. I read so many books about mental health and the art of meditation and, being calm and all that. And then I came back to the corporate world, and I took a pay cut, and now I work better hours, and I work with nicer people, and I have more quote unquote work-life balance. But I feel like I'm wasting my time. Am I wasting my time? What am I supposed to do? So let's touch on that today, right? Let's look at what you should be prioritizing in your 20s. Is it true that it's something that you're missing on if you don't look at those things? My friend, I'm here to tell you that I discovered that those are not the right questions to be asking in your 20s. Yeah. I mean, fine. No one is saying burn yourself, but looking at it like that is a very simplistic way of looking at it. So here are the actual 5 things that you should be thinking about for your career in your 20s. This is based off of the research that I've done intensively, looking at, the career trajectories of people who have already made it to manager, looking at different sources on the internet, looking at different videos on YouTube of other people. And I think there are 5 things, yeah? 1, learning and skill. So yes, making a shit ton of money, working for a big company is great. But are you learning and are you building actual skills that are transferable to a different career? Here's what I found about working for a big company. You sort of become a very small part, and your role becomes incredibly insignificant. Yeah. So then now when you are that, and when you're like literally hiding behind other people, behind managers, you don't learn a lot. It's very comfortable. You make a lot of money. You don't have to do much. You don't have to speak during meetings. You don't have to be uncomfortable. But are you learning? And learning in your 20s is incredibly important, because it then sets you up for the future. If you learn these skills now, it means that in the future you attempt to learn about people management, which becomes very pivotal if you move into managerial roles or roles that are higher than just being an analyst, right? So learning and skills is important. So don't think of, oh my gosh, like, should I be ambitious? Should I have work-life balance? Just think to yourself, okay, what am I learning at this job? Because then when you are learning, the time that you're spending at work sort of becomes insignificant, because you are learning and you're spending your time like acquiring skills and you're becoming a better person for it. Yeah. And number 2 is career trajectory. Yeah. Fine. And I think this video has just become an important diary intro lesson for me, because it's given me very important things to think about in my 20s, which is, where do I want my career to go? If you want to have a career in finance and you really are passionate about making a shit ton of money, but currently you work in energy and sustainability, ask yourself, where I'm working now, and listen, out of uni, you want a job, right? So you take whatever job that you can get so that you can pay rent, you can start your life, which is great. But long term, this job in sustainability, I'm just making it an unrealistic example, which is say you get paid a lot of money now in sustainability than you would at an analyst job at a bank, but the ideas that you want to be in finance. Yeah. So take the pay cut, take the longer hours, take the crappy stuff. If this is what you want your career to go, if this is your projected career trajectory. Yeah. And number 3, money. Oh my God. Don't we all love money? We all love money. I know that I love money. I know that an important factor in choosing the job that I had out of uni was money. How much money am I going to make out of this? And I realized I'm going to make a shit ton of money. And then I just went with it. It's okay, you know what? I'm taking this job. As a result, but then outside of that, it was a good career for me because it aligned with what I wanted. But I think of other people who took jobs that paid a lot of money. I think of this other woman, incredible woman that I worked at a different job that paid a lot of money, and she had to change to this job and take a pay cut because whatever job that she did not align with what she wanted to do long term. And even though they paid a lot of money, she found herself very bored and found herself not being challenged enough. And money is great in your 20s and it's great to make a ton of money, but what is your projected career trajectory? What exactly do you want to do career-wise? And listen, you don't have to love it. It doesn't have to be your quote-unquote passion. But I feel like when you sit down with yourself and the noise goes down, the noise of the money and the prestige goes down, you sort of know or have an idea of what you want to do on a daily when you wake up to when you go to bed. And what does that look like? Does it align what you're doing now? So forget the money a little bit. Let the money go a little bit. And what do you want to do? Do you want to be an exco? If you want to be an exco, which is executive committees or in the executive position, you need to learn about strategy. And are you working in a role now that is going to teach you about strategy? Or if you want to be one of the greatest quads, are you working in a role that's helping you learn that skill? So think about that after the money or even before the money. Yeah. Number 4 in your 20s, and I think I read this also in the Diary of a CEO, is about relationships. I cannot tell you how important relationships are. Relationships are very important. And I also don't want to say force them, because I remember when I worked where I worked in consulting, people were speak to as many people as you want, as you can, and set up these coffee chats. And what I found is that sometimes the relationship is just not there. Sometimes it's just not fitting. Sometimes it's just we don't get along with this person, and then I feel awful. I'm oh my gosh, I should be building relationships. I'm not saying in that way. And if you are that person who doesn't mind speaking to people you don't get along with, by all means, fine, do it. But I, for one, care a lot about, connection with people. Not in the woo-woo personal way, but in do I find what you do impressive? Do I respect you as a person? Do I see myself doing what you do? Are there any skills that I find impressive that you have? Then I will speak to you. And when you come from that position, not in a position of I'm trying to speak to as many people as I can and build this fake connections. If you're coming to it from the perspective of I want to learn from you, I respect you as a person, you'll find that it's super easy to build relationships, and those will pay off. And the next time you're looking for a job and that person works in that company, they'll put in a good word for you and you will have an incredibly good time. So think about that as well. Number 5, your actual life. Yeah. Listen, I know a lot of people will tell you that, your 20s are not for that. You shouldn't be complaining in your 20s. But I will tell you right now for free, there is no way that I'm waking up hating my life and continuing to do that job. It's just crazy. It's not going to happen. It's not for me. I don't care for it. So I think it's also important to take into account how you feel about your daily life in that job, in that career, yeah? So don't completely hate it and hate yourself. Find a way to make it work. I feel like what has worked for me here is that it's having the ability to separate your work life from yourself. This is a job. This is a job. I came here to work. I came here to build my skills. I came here to make money and go home. I then need to have an actual life outside of this. And do I have an actual life outside of this? Find things that you enjoy, find things that you are passionate about. Do those things. It doesn't have to be about this job all the time. You know what I mean? Because then you start to take it personally, and all the feedback becomes very personal, and you can't sleep anymore because everything is just so personal. And if things are personal, they start to become exhausting. So I would say that think about your actual life as well when you are in your 20s and you're trying to build a career. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening until the end of the video. I really appreciate you watching, and please stay tuned for the next one.